You wrote a really interesting article. What does Clowney signing tell us about Andrew Berry? Take us through that and kind of the conclusion you came to.
Well, one of the things is he's persistent. With Tack McKinley, going back to him, the Browns tried to get him 3 times via waivers last year, and they also tried to trade for him before the deadline. It didn't happen. He's a free agent. They go back and they get him. Jadeveon Clowney, same deal. They tried to get him last year. They were aggressive last offseason in trying to add Clowney. It didn't work out, but he's still a guy that Berry wanted on this defensive line. So he went and he got him. And Clowney even pointed that out in his press conference with us. He said, he was impressed with the persistence that Andrew Berry showed. The other thing is there's a plan with how they want to spend their money. They gave Myles Garrett a huge extension. So, the likelihood of them going out and signing a Trey Hendrickson for 4 years, $15 million a year, or Carl Lawson for 3 years, $45 million a year, just kind of didn't feel realistic as we saw what those price tags were going to be. And what they've basically done is they've taken Clowney at somewhere in the range of $8 to $10 million, depending how he does, and Tack McKinley somewhere in the range of $4 to $6 million. They've kind of addressed that position. And yes, they're paying as much as Hendrickson is making. They're paying as much as Lawson is making, but it's only for a year. And so now they can draft somebody if they want to. They kind of have still created some cost control on that defensive line by kind of going 2 for 1 there.
The other thing that's important to note, Andrew Berry has guys that he thinks can play and can fill a role, and that doesn't change. I mean, that's the other thing that this says about him. And you point to McKinley and you point to Clowney, and those are, again, 2 guys he identified as being fits and went and got them.
Yeah, he knows the type of player he wants. And I do like the fact that even a year later, even though Clowney shunned them, he went back to him and tried to bring him back. And Clowney mentioned that he has a new agent. His agent really wanted him to visit Cleveland, and Clowney was impressed. And the other part of this is, an off season ago, the Browns were still they were coming off a 6-10 season. Kevin Stefanski was a new coach. Joe Woods was the defensive coordinator, hadn't done that in a few years. There were still a lot of questions about this organization and this franchise and the direction they were going. There were big questions about Baker Mayfield still. And Clowney came back this year and visited a very different organization, an organization that, like he said, won more games than the team he went to last year won. So he's coming into a very different building, a more stable organization. I think that made a difference too.